So I took a trip to the Garden State Comic Fest. It was day 2 of the fest and picked up some comic books. A lot of PC stuff. Let's take a look up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. And before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. Look at the description of this video. There's a link to my eBay store, my email, my Instagram, my whatnot. So I went today to the Garden State Comic Fest. It's a 2-day show. And it was in a hockey arena. There was a main area which had like stands around it, but room 1, most of the vendors were in there, and in, I guess, the arena area, I don't know if they still use it for ice, but because room 2, evidently it was cool in room 2, despite the fact it was 90 some odd degrees outside, and they had the ice covered with like rubberized mats. And then I noticed when we went to, there was a snack bar there, food, but there was an actual third rink where folks were skating. So we got there. Let's take a look at what the show looked like.
There's some Ghostbusters here. You know. And there's a Batmobile. So we're gonna head in.
So you saw the Batmobile. This is the first room. And you can see there's a guy dressed as whatever he's dressed as. I don't know. I saw him a couple times. And you can see a lot of different vendors, but not a lot of comics. And you see in the background there the boards of the hockey arena. And then here's the Artist Alley. And they did have the Sterenkos there. So, again, this whole right-hand side were artists. And there were some nice comic vendors off to the left there. I'm just kind of making my lap here. You know, but folks with a lot of... Oh, this is the right hand, actually the other side. There was NRG was over there. Ooh. Oh, maybe I'm mistaken. But it was a pretty good crowd. And then some independent publishers with their books.
Is that number 1?
And unlike the comic shows I usually go to where it's just, you know, just long boxes on tables, this is a little bit different. You know, you get a feel of the toys and the pops, and over here we're approaching the weaponry. They have lightsabers, and here's some comics. And I think I had actually bought comics from a garage sale that guy had at one point. Yeah, plenty of swords, and then some. I think they had throwing stars here. I don't know if that's legal in New Jersey. Everything's legal in New Jersey. Yeah, they had quite a big booth. Swords. And, yeah, not anything I'm interested in. I'm looking for comic books, like that guy digging there. You know, those folks digging through, you know, long boxes and short boxes. So, this is actually, this is the first room. And here there were a lot more just comic book vendors. So you can see the walls that they had. There were some bigger vendors, some out-of-town vendors that I don't usually see. Zap Comics, of course. Got a couple books from them. And here were some artists over on this side. And then this was where I eventually got my one of my books over here, an early Flash issue from that vendor. So this was the main room, and yeah, this was more comic book centric. So yeah, just an idea of what the show floor looks like there. And you know, but there were plenty of people with original art, their own art, and there was quite a bit of cosplay. But what's encouraging to see is there were a bunch of kids here, so you really need to get the younger generation involved in the hobby. So you can see there was a Batmobile replica that there was kind of fun. So I went with the kids, and they're now old enough that they can kind of search on their own, and they found some good stuff. They were like really focusing on Funko Pops. My younger one excited about an Alligator Loki pop, and my older one was really excited to find a 10th Doctor Funko Pop for a really great deal. But that left me time to hunt. Now, this was more of a comic convention than a comic show. I think comic show means more like a $5 entry fee, and it's just folks setting up selling comics. A comic convention is a little bit bigger, and you have the cosplay and the Funko Pops and the Legos and the swords and games, and there were people signing there. I did not take advantage of it. One of the vendors actually had on their wall a bunch of books, you know, ready for signing, ready for signing. I know Walt and Louise Simonson were there, but I didn't pay that much attention to the celebrities. But I went around and looked for some books. What I found interesting, not a lot in terms of Golden Age. Usually like to try to work on my May 1946 collection at a convention where there are, you know, more high-end vendors, and you know, like New York or Baltimore Terrificon. Didn't really have that here. There was actually the first vendor in there. They had wall books, and then their bins were all modern, all kind of brand new stuff. So I dug a little bit. So Steve from Elite Comic Sales, I hit his booth up, and we were chatting for a while. And I got 3 different issues of Super Friends, just kind of, why not, working on this run. I grew up with the Super Friends. I didn't collect it at the time because by the time the comic came out, I was too mature for this. I was like, you know, 11 years old or whatever, or 10. Got issues 21, 30, and 31. These are all really high grade. These are all like in the 9s, I think. Not that I'm going to get them graded, but I did like number 31 has a Black Orchid appearance. That was kind of an obscure character for them to pull out for a Super Friends book. And then I got this one. This has, I think, some possibilities. I'm going to press it because I think it's worth the gamble. It is Legends #1. It's the first appearance of Amanda Waller. This is a fairly heavily printed book. We do know that Amanda Waller's getting her own series. Viola Davis is reprising the role from the DCU in the Peacemaker series. But what makes this book special is it's a newsstand. So that is going in. Those are going in the PC pile. This is going in the Slab-a-Rooney pile. I don't know if I'm going to accelerate that in my slab pile or not. Some books I put towards the top, especially if there's more current speculation on it. Then there's, I picked up a Detective 463. Why not? Price was right. And this is the first appearance, not only of the Black Spider, but also the Calculator. I get this book almost any chance I get. Stay tuned, because I'm a high school math teacher, so it makes sense. And then 2 other pretty high-grade copies of Batman Family, just trying to work on that run. It's only 18 issues, so these were a couple of later ones I needed. Those are going in the PC. So Steve gave me a great deal on that. And then the next booth I went to had a lot of silver and bronze. Half price. So I think that the sticker prices were pretty close to fair market value. Not really much below fair market value. So the half price made sense if the condition made sense. So I picked up these 3 books. They're all copies of Unexpected, 158, 159, and 160. And these are all 100 pagers. Again, what did I grow up with? That's what I'm collecting. I love the 100 pagers because of the variety of stories that I got to read when I was like, 8, 9, 10 years old. And I never really picked up the horror books. I was the superhero guy. But I've been collecting the 100 pagers, so this goes into that collection. That's also PC. So from this particular show, the PC pile is pretty large. And then, sticking with Unexpected, 4 more issues, consecutive, 139. And these are all, I think the worst of these is like a 7.5. They do have a little bit of tanning. They probably all came from the same source. 140, 141, and this is really nice. This is definitely in the 9s. 142. Again, probably not going to get these graded, but these all are from 1972. So that's part of my DC 72 collection, and that does, hit some check marks to get that done. And another one from 72, another horror book that I found that I needed, Secrets of Sinister House number 6. I'm not exactly sure, because these, a lot of times, these are very desirable covers, because they're, I don't think Neil Adams was doing too many of the horror covers by 72, but you're really looking for Wrightson and Cardy are the ones. Indeed, I did a video previously of DC versus Bronze Horror. DC was more, anthology based and has popularity based on the artists. This is, I'm not sure who did the cover of this one, but the Unexpected, just want to look at the cover artists if I can, if they, I'm not sure. I'm looking at, I'm not seeing, quickly in my CLZ app, a credit for the cover artist. Nick Cardy did a lot of them at this point in time. And I didn't realize that Nick Cardy goes all the way back to the 50s. He did the cover to Congo Bill #1, which I just got for a good price, and then it made the Hot 10 list, or the runner-up 10 for one high sale. Anyway, so that's going in a 72 batch as well. I did pay fairly well for those, but they were half price. Another batch of books. Oh, then my daughter grabbed me, and she was shopping for Funko Pops. So I was kind of going along with her and, seeing what she was getting, and she was shopping. She's like, she found the alligator Loki that she wanted. A guy had, I think she had a $40 price sticker on it, but somebody else had 15. So she asked the $40 guy. He offered 20. We went to the 15. But while she was kind of asking him about his prices, I was going through his boxes, and I picked up just a couple of books. Man-Thing #3, not a big deal. But Johnny Quest #3, Dave Stevens cover. Not a 9/8 contender, and also it's not, there are no women on the cover. So just a cool Dave Stevens cover. I do have this entire Johnny Quest run, but that is a pretty cool book to have. And it was like $3. Next booth I went to, I did pay up for some of these. I thought this was a little bit better shape, but it's got a fold there. I've been grabbing Miracle Man #1. So that's going to go in my spec pile. As is another copy of the first Calculator. Actually, I think I'm going to, this is really high grade. I'm going to press it and see. If I could get a 9.6 on this, I'd be very happy. For a 30 center? Absolutely. That's going to go in the press pile. This is going to go in the spec pile. I've been picking this up. Detective 469, first appearance of Dr. Phosphorus. He's on the cover. And he's going to be a member of the Creature Commandos when that animated series comes. And then I picked up this. This is a possible 9/8 contender. I'm going to give it a nice old clean and press. This is the Batman 567, the first appearance of Cassandra Cain, known as Orphan, who does become a Batgirl. There have been a lot of Batgirls. Zap Comics had some cool stuff, and that was like the next to last place I picked stuff up from. They always have great inventory. he had his wall books, nothing sung to me. Then he had a $10 bin, and I picked up a couple of those just to kind of work on this run. The price was good, and there were 2 issues that I kind of needed for the run. We have here Action Comics 297, The Man Who Discovered Superman's Identity. Perry finally proved I'm Superman. And then we go a little bit earlier even. This is from 1961. I think this is probably the same month as Fantastic Four one. The Action Comics 282. So these are both mid-graders, like in the 445 range. But they both present well. They're complete with no majorly detracting flaws. So those are both going in the PC pile. This is going in the PC pile because we were talking about it, and it kind of referenced a previous video I'd done on a collection I passed up that had a lot of slabs of books that really shouldn't have been slabbed. Books that were getting, 9, 9.2, 9.4, 9.6, even lower when they don't really have much value other than in a 9.8. And a lot of books that don't even have value in a 9.8. But this, I picked it up as a 9.8. I'm not sure it has value in a 9.8, but I had been toying with the idea because, again, connection to my youth. It has such, and also to my my older daughter. I'll talk about that in a minute. That I was thinking, short series, could I get all these in 9.8s? Maybe. There's also the connection here. And this is Batman 66 #2 in a 9.8 white pages. Old label. And this series, of course, is related to the Adam West series that I grew up with. And then I got the Blu-ray set, and my daughter and I watched the whole thing. She fell in love with it. Actually, one Halloween, we made a Batgirl costume that looked like, we got the right material for the purple with the glittery purple and stuff. And we had a lot of fun with that. And then she saw somebody dressed in a 66 Batgirl costume, pointing out today. But the other aspect of this, so these stories, and this is a Mike Allred cover. New stories inspired by the classic TV series. So, looks like Adam West, Burt Ward Robin, Otto Preminger, Mr. Freeze, and of course, Burgess Meredith as the Penguin, plus a story, The Siren Sings Again. The Siren played by Joan Collins. And the trade paperback of this was bedtime story material when my daughter was a little bit younger. And as a parent, I do miss bedtime story time. And, I would do the voices, and I'm not going to do them right now. You have to, if you want to hear me do voices, you have to come across for my read-throughs. I don't know how good they are, but, they're bedtime story daddy good enough. So that's kind of pretty cool. So it was, and he gave me a little bit off. This was $40. So I couldn't pass it up because it was a 9.8. I was kind of looking if there were any good 9.6s that were improvable. And I saw this. I'm like, I'll get that. That goes in the PC. And then one last book that is going in the PC. That is kind of a spec book, but not really. More just like me wanting to get nice DC keys. And I kind of looked at this book. I had looked at a higher grade one at Baltimore that was much more expensive, but the dealer had a really good, he had 25% off his wall today on Sunday. And I had a lot of DC books, and I was like trying to not break the bank. But I thought this particular copy does have its flaws. It's a mid-grader. It does have a beat up spine, but it's going in the PC, and it is Flash 112. This is from 1960. It is the first appearance of the Elongated Man. Elongated Man was joined the Justice League when I first started reading it, was a long-term member of the JLA, and actually remained with the JLA even after the other heroes departed and they became Justice League Detroit, with Vibe and Gypsy and Vixen and Steel when people kind of when Justice League really jumped the shark. But this is the first appearance of Elongated Man. He was in the Flash TV series. He was removed from the series after some, I forget the nature of the tweets that he had made, but they were pretty cringeworthy, as I recall, and enough to get him removed from the series. And they had to like write the character out where he appeared like he had been injured, so they had just some other actors standing there, like not saying anything and saying his face was injured, you know, like almost like it was Black Noir. But that was kind of a good book to pick up, and I got a really good deal on that. It is a mid-grader. It does have spyware, but it's complete. Does have a detached staple in the centerfold. That's not something I'm really, concerned about. But the other thing, too, is it's like really sharp corners and edges. But again, there are other flaws to the book. So that was my trip to the Focus Please. There we go. To the Garden State Comic Fest. We picked up a few books, and again, as I said, a lot of them for the PC. I see 3 are going in the slab pile, and 3 in the spec pile, and like 2 in the cell pile. And the rest are all going in the PC pile. The 72 books are behind me there. Those 2 boxes. In the top there. Like I'm getting more organized. Those are the 72s. That is my most recent pull list books, the ones that have just come home. I filled another box, and these 2 are Batman. The Batman 150 up, and I actually have to do some replacement of those probably tonight. So anyway, I'd like to thank you all for stopping by. You can take a look at a couple of my other videos here, and this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.